tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So, in the previous lesson, we studied the topic dwelling in great ease. So the people who practice loving kindness, compassion, rejoicing, and equanimity, together with the seven factor of awakening factors, those people will do in great ease, because those two help them from secluded fading away in a cessation of the suffering, and they will letting go some kind of defilements, not to bother their mind. And furthermore, last previous lesson, we also learned the story of Princess Rohini. So if she know how to practice these four kind of limited mind and awakening factors, so she should know how to control her defilement, and she not commit any evil deed, and she face the bad consequence in the present life. But lucky for her that she meet the Buddha, and she has a good brother to guide her how to correct what she did in the past, so she have a better life since then. So that is the previous lesson. So today's lessons, because we talked too much about awakening factors in the previous lesson, but we don't have enough time to understand these things. So today's topic will be focused on the 7 awakening factors. So today's topic is based on the book called Vibhanga and its commentary in the Abhidhamma treatise. So there are 7 factors we call awakening factors: the mindfulness, investigation of principle, energy, rapture, tranquility, concentration, and equanimity. So we will try to understand all these things. So these awakening factors is the thing arise in your mind when you practice insight meditation, vipassana, what we practice right here. So when we practice up to a certain level, then it will arise in us automatically. So first thing we talk about sati, can be translated as mindfulness. So the person who practice vipassana insight meditation in this Buddhism, they will become a mindful person. Mindful person because he has a mindfulness in him, and it equipped with excellence is the utmost, the highest level of mindfulness. So we just started as the basic one, but that person, he should have the mindfulness up to the high level. So he has mindfulness and prudence together. Prudence here refers to wisdom. So the mindfulness, we often heard about mindfulness only, but we don't hear much about prudence or wisdom. But it should be together, and it refers to a stronger state of mindfulness. So mindfulness with wisdom is stronger than the mindfulness without wisdom. So therefore, sometimes you heard the word awareness. They try to translate and make it easier to understand that mindfulness should be always together with the wisdom. So we have an example here. There are 4 ministers of the king. So the minister away in the 2 directions. So one of them waits together with the prince, and the other wait by their own. So the one who waits with the prince would be the one who has more power because of their own glory and the glory of the prince. So the other one, they don't have the same glory as the one who wait together with the prince. So it's, in the same way, mindfulness, it have more power when it go together with wisdom. That in the text it translates as prudence. And the person who practice, who have sati, who is the mindful person, he remember what has long been done. It means that what he done in the whole his life, he remember, he know, and what he's long been said, he said long time ago, then he can remember. Long been said can refer to the teaching or to the Dhamma talk that he has learned, like a meditation subject, the teacher explained for him. And he understand and he keep his mind clearly in the teaching, that he don't think that, oh, this is the teaching, I try to understand it and I try to have my faith in the teaching. It's not that way, but he know that this is the right teaching, the teaching expounded well by the Buddha. I will understand it, and after I understand it, I will practice in accordance to the teaching of the Buddha, so that he get benefit. That is called he has mindful that on the thing that long been said. Okay, and then he remember all those things. Remember in the way that he can recall all those things easily. So what he have learned before, he can recall easily. For example, you learn about the impermanence. For example, impermanence. But and when he practiced, it come to his mind. It come automatically, and he recognizes it is the impermanence that he have heard long time ago, something like that. So and he not only remember once, but he can record it again and again. That is called the mindfulness awakening factors. The mindfulness itself associated with insight, and it is as the basis originate the remaining awakening factors. So it is called the mindfulness awakening factors. So it is different from the mindfulness we have when we normal practice, because it arises together with insight, and it up to a level that your mindfulness strong enough, and it go together with wisdom. Okay. So when we celebrate Vesak, you often heard that the story of the 7 lotus that the Bodhisattva, the Buddha, to be walk, the 7 step. So it referred, according to the commentary, it's referred to the 7 awakening factors. So we just know the first one is sati. The second one is Dhammavicaya. I think you know it better. The second one is the Dhammavicaya. For the person who practice, who have mindful in such a way, so toward that principle is the state that he had, that what had been done long ago or spoken long ago, he toward that principle, he has wisdom to search, to investigate, to get into it thoroughly. His search means that he contemplate with wisdom what is really impermanent, what is really unsatisfactory, what is really non-self during the practice. It does not mean that during the practice you try to think, oh, this is the impermanent, this is suffering, this is non-self. It's not that way, but it automatically come into him, and he realized that. He just know that. So this is the second one, the Dhammavicaya. He investigated with wisdom what is really impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self, and get into it thoroughly by way of survey and search. So this is called the investigation of principal awakening factors. It is the insight knowledge. The knowledge arises in practice insight meditation, and it have the power to originate another awakening factors. So this is called the Dhammavijaya, investigation of principal awakening factors. So the third one, you may know that these seven, they not we cannot, when we count them, we cannot count them randomly. It goes step by step. Because of sati, because of mindfulness, you have Dhammavijaya, not by the other way around. Okay, so the person who has toward the principle, toward what he have done done long ago, or what been spoken long ago, he search, he investigate, he get into it thoroughly with wisdom. And when he accomplished that, he fulfilled that, he sustained that, he become strenuous, become unshrinking, more effort. Because he not shrinking back, he not afraid anymore, because he had more effort, because he know that, oh, what I know is right, according to the teaching of Buddha say is impermanent, and I see myself as impermanent. Okay, so you have more effort to do that, you have more effort to practice, because you know that your way is correct. So that is the third one, called Viriya, the energy awakening factors. So Viriya arise together with the insight, associate with insight, and originate another awakening factors. So when you have the Viriya, he have the energy, and when he accomplished the energy, a rapture that not worldly arise in him. He feel happy, he feel rapture, he feel joyful. But that joyful is different from worldly joyful. We have worldly joyful and non-worldly joyful. So non-worldly joyful, you already know, is concerned with craving and concerned with the defilement. But this is the different one. It's purified because it's due to the absence of the bait of sense desire, the base of the word, and the base of the cycle of rebirth. So go one by one. It due to the absence of the base of the sense desire, there are 5 chord of sensual desire through eye, ears, nose, tongue, and body. So this joyful, this joy, this piti, this rapture is free from the attachment to sensual desire, 5 chord of sensual desire. And there are also kind of rapture concerns with the word. When we take the word, we may think that we will live forever, or after this life is no more life. So there is some wrong view, there is a distorted view may arise in us concerning with the word. But the joyful, this kind of joyful is beyond that, not concerned with that. And there also be free from the base of the cycle of rebirth, because samsara. So the word have 8 characteristics: gain and loss, fame and dishonor, praise and blame, happiness and suffering. The word have such kind of thing. When we face of, we get fame, we happy, we enjoy. When we get dishonor, we sad. We gain things, we happy. When we lost things, we unhappy. So we always affected by the power of outside. So we not balanced. So we cannot keep our mind calm. But this kind of piti is free from that. Free from that. Either we get or we lost. We don't be affected by that. So that is called rapture, a piti, awakening factors. So that this rapture is arise when you practice insight meditation. Is arise when you do insight meditation. So that is called the piti. The next one is called passaddhi. So for the person who have joyful mind, when he practice like that, his mental body become tranquilized, and also consciousness become tranquilized. So when we talk about mental body and consciousness, so a being can be defined to 5 groups. We've called 5 aggregates. So one of them is the form, so refer to the body, refer to the physical part. So the other 4 refers to the mental part. So 3 of them is the feeling, perception, the choices, and the other one is consciousness. So for the person who have joyful mind, all 4, even the feeling, perception, or choices and consciousness become calm and tranquilized. It is tranquilized, it is calm because it's free from the defilement. So this is called passaddhi, and these passaddhis arise when you practice insight meditation, arise in the insight meditation. Okay. So for the person who have passaddhi, who have calm mental body like that, his mind become happy due to the tranquility like that. So his consciousness is concentrated. I have the picture here. Concentrated means focus. His mind focus on one point. It not moving to the other object. Focus on one object. Just like you enter the jhana absorption, the powers similarly. So that's what is called the samadhi, the concentration awakening factor. And this kind of one-pointedness mind is arise only during the insight meditation. Okay, that's why it is called samadhi sambhojjhanga, the concentration awakening factors. And the last one is upekkha. When you have the stable mind, when your mind focus on one thing, your mind is become balanced. You become an equanimous observer. It's like you just the observer. You see the thing changing, even to your like or not to your like. You be balanced. I have the picture here, whether it's good or it's bad, whether it's you gain thing or you lose thing, whether it is decrease or increase of all of the state, you become equanimity. So for example, for the person who practice, when you see that you have less defilement, so you're really happy, right? You're really happy when you see that you have a little more defilement, then you're a bit sad. But for the person who practice into this state, upekkha, equanimity, whether you get or you lose, you keep your mind balanced. No effect. Okay, so this is called the upekkha or equanimity, awakening factors. So those are the 7 bojjhanga awakening factors. So it come from the word anga, mean factors, and this boj is from the word bodhi, mean enlightenment or awakening. So when we talk about the 7 bojjhanga, the awakening factors, it happened for the person who practice insight meditation. And when will you get these factors? Is the preparing step or preliminary stage for the attainment. So before you get attainment, you have mastered these 7 factors. So it's away quite far when you reach there, but you will see on the way like that. So everything have to start first with sati, mindfulness. That's why we have to focus right here when we practice here. We improve our sati first, and then that sati will go together with wisdom. Always go together with wisdom. You mindful, you note whatever happened in your life, even what you hear or what you do. Be mindful of that together with wisdom. So when you do like that, your wisdom will increase. You have the power to investigate the principle, what have done, what have been said. And then you will realize what is really impermanence, what is really dukkha, suffering, what is really non-self. Now we just know by word, by reading book, that is not our knowledge. That is just the book knowledge or the Buddha knowledge. That's not our knowledge. So when you understand really by practicing, you get the second step, the Dhamma Vichaya. So when you reach that step, you have more confidence, you have more energy to practice more and more. That's called Viriya. And when you practice more and more, you have piti, the joyful mind, to continue to practice. And then when your mind is joyful, you calm down, you tranquilize all of the defilement. And when the defilement calm down, your mind focus, concentrate, it calls samadhi. And when your mind concentrates samadhi, you have balanced mind, become an equanimous observer. Just look, the things change and go away. No bother any of them. So that is called the Bojjhanga awakening factors. So like previous lesson we talked, if the person who practiced these awakening factors together with loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, they have more, their life more peaceful, more happy. So that is the one I want to share today. Thank you for listening.
Okay, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, it's discussion time. While I talk, you can always raise your hand, ask questions, something that not clear or need to be clarified, or even question that not today lesson. As long as it's the Dhamma, then I encourage you to ask. But if you don't ask, I continue to talk for you to understand. Sometimes people are shy to ask questions in public, in the crowd. So anyway, today we learn about the 7 factors of enlightenment. Anyone who practices Vipassana consistently and persistently, eventually they will get this 7 factor. They get into these 7 factors before they get the awakening or enlightenment. And the enlightenment, the result, the attainment of this has level of enlightenment. And the highest enlightenment is the arahantship. But the initial one, the first stage of it is called Sotabana, which is the stream answerer. But before you get there, you need to get through all this to get it. But it's not something that can easily done if you're not, consistent and persistent, continue to practice. If you on and off and practice, you don't go don't go anywhere, don't get much out of it. Just like we talk about, I give you an analogy, like when you go to the gym, let's say you have a goal to have a good body, very fit, and you need to go to the gym and go work out. And if you are on and off, then you won't get the result. Or sometimes it can be very painful when you get back on track, as anyone who goes to the gym. So that's why I always put strong emphasis on consistent and persistent to do it. And you can't get the result if you don't have mind concentration or samadhi. And samadhi is you have to get into the deep samadhi in order to get either attain jhana for samatha meditation, or samadhi for the vipassana meditation, which is in this type of samadhi that he did talk about, one of the 7 factors. But a lot of people, it's very difficult for them to have strong samadhi when they always get interrupted with daily life, with family life and, the daily life you do. So it's very hard to maintain samadhi. Because the moment that you lose track or you off, then your samadhi start to break off. Same with, like, you sit for 1 hour, you get samadhi for 1 hour. But if you go out, when you stop, be mindful on the object, then the samadhi start to break off, and then you will go back to the agitation that you normally do in daily life. So samadhi is very important to maintain, to get you, into the 7 factors of enlightenment. So a lot of time, the people who, like household people like yourself, because you're so busy with daily life, family life, people often to take retreat, in the meditation center for 1 month, 2 months, or even a whole year. So all they do all day long is just to sit and meditate. Of course, there's daily activity in between, like taking a shower, eating, and all that kind of thing. But mainly, they concentrated in doing the meditation. They could add up, meditate for like 10 or 15, 20 hours to meditate. So you see, imagine that 1 hour sitting, 1 hour walking, 1 hour sitting, 1 hour walking, and then the daily chore, your personal hygiene in between. So your concentration continue to maintain to the level that it hit the break point. This is when you enter the 7th factor of enlightenment, if you do the Vipassana meditation. But if you do the Samatha meditation, you get the 4 or 5 factors of the jhana. Depends on which one that you do. But always samadhi is the key to get into this breakthrough. Okay? So that's why it's important that we continue to practice. What you come every week, every Sunday to come here, is just only to learn the technique, to get used to it, get a jump start. So, I give you an example. When you practice karate or martial art, they let's say karate, they have the belt, the color of the belt. Start out, you are white belt, right? Like very, very start, where you are a novice is the white belt, where you learn all the basics. So what color of your belt right now? You're probably in the white belt, right? So as you become more skillful, and then you get into a higher level, then your belt having start color, and you have black belt, and then the black belt with the color stripe and things like that. So Vipassana the same way. You continue to practice, and then eventually you will get into deeper, and then you realize a whole lot more. That's how you escalate yourself up. So we mentioned about sati, whether you the sati that we talk about the 7, one of the 7 factors is called sati. But before you get into that, you still have to have sati, which is, we talk about that, be mindful with your in-breath and out-breath, or mindful with your step when you do the walking, or mindful with what you do daily life. So you got to be mindful at all time, not because that you're not meditating. A lot of people are saying that. When I asked the devotee, have you been practicing? Oh, I've been so busy, I have so much work to do, I have a lot of work, housework to do, I can't meditate. But if you do Vipassana, then you are required to be mindful in everything that you do, in every action, every movement, and that's called sati, and that's practice already. So we talk about it, there's no excuse that we don't have time to practice, because you need to apply it in every daily life, right? So for the ladies, stay home, you busy with your household work, so you got to be mindful when you do washing the dishes, mindful when you feed your kids. Be mindful with what you do, like that. So if you do that, then you continue to practice. And if you're skillful, you can still gain samadhi with that. And when you have samadhi, you have insight, knowledge developed. So that's very important in the practice. Okay. So and then some people still not clear about sati. When we say sati, we mean samasati, which is right mindfulness. A lot of people say sati mean to remember or to aware. Then sometimes you do bad things, you still remember and aware too, right? So that's still considered sati, but it's not samasati. It's not right mindfulness. Right mindfulness is without the greed, anger, and delusion, and that's samasati, and that will lead to the positive side. But if you focus, you're aware with greedy mind like a cat, try to focus on the mouse or the prey, then very carefully it moves without making a sound or notice. The prey won't run away, so that's still considered, I would say, mindful. A lot of people usually call mindful. A thief, they're very mindful with the step, They walk very carefully so that it won't get noticed. So that wouldn't be right mindfulness. But in Buddhist perspective, when we say mindfulness, we often mean that is the right mindfulness, to get that one out the side, okay? So sati, another way to look at it is like when you read a book, and if you don't have sati, then you might not understand what is in the contents. You got to be focused on what you read, and then the next one you need to be focused so that you can have a cohesion, with everything. And then when you finish reading the passage or the story, then you understand what insight, what it means, the context, what it means. And after you understand what it says, then you have this insight. It dawned on you, oh, this is what happened, this is what it is, thing like that. But if you read the book and then you just read for a few lines and then you go out and do something and then you come back and then you forgot what you read. You have to start all over again. And then you leave it out and you go outside and then you come back, you forgot what you read. So that's not mindful, okay? And if you keep doing that, will you ever understand what the context, what the content say? So same way, when you meditate and you on and off aware of the main object, which like say for this main object is the in-breath and out-breath. You meditate and you kind of slack off, and then you have running thought and you follow your running thought, and then you come back, and then when you run, when you go after or you follow your running thought or the storyline, you get agitated and things like that, then you won't get samadhi. Then when you have agitation, dissatisfaction, or what we call dukkha, suffering will follow. But you don't want that, so that's why you need to build up this samadhi. So continue, consistent and persistent with that. Eventually, you collect enough data, and then the whole picture will be revealed. So the same way, when you ever wonder what sati means or what it is, remember that you are reading something, and then you put it off, and then you come back, you forgot what you read, and then you have to start all over again, and you keep doing that again and again, you won't ever understand what it means. So you gotta stay focused, follow every little thing to the end. Then you understand the concept, the content of it. So when you meditate, when you do vipassana, sati, very important. Whatever the object that arises in your sixth sense door, we talk about ear, eye, nose, tongue, body, lastly, the mind. Whatever it is, you're aware of it. Right now, there is no insight yet, but you need to establish the ground first for the insight to develop. The ground is the samadhi. So aware of the object and come back with your main object, which is your in-breath and out-breath. Establish that one first. Then eventually insight will develop when you have strong samadhi. And a lot of people are saying that when they do vipassana, they didn't understand any better, or they didn't get their instruction. They found it's very boring. Like, for 1 hour, I just follow my in-breath, and I don't know why I need to do that. I could actually do it all day, without sitting here doing meditation. But they don't understand that samadhi is the ground that needs to establish to build up, higher. So you notice the object rises in your sense door, whatever the object strikes your sense door, you're aware of it, and then you go back. You need to see it, and later on, you notice that your mind is truly impermanent. One thing you want to do something, and then the next thing you know it is already changed its stage. It doesn't, concrete. Or your upsetting mind. Upsetting mind rises in your mind, and you don't follow it, you don't add on to it. Eventually, it loses the condition, and then the upsetting mind vanishes. It didn't stay with you. So you notice that, upsetting mind truly is impermanent. Same go with the happy minds. It's truly impermanent when the condition is no more. We know more in the sense that either it go away by itself, or you don't feed it. You don't, keep feeding it. It's just like the fire. Like if you don't feed the fuel, then the fire eventually burnt out. So the condition is the fuel, right? So you learn that, and later on you notice that, everything is not concrete, not substantial, and why am I just keep holding on to something that is not substantial? So that'd be silly. Then you learn not to hold on to it so much. When it comes, you're aware of it, and it's gone, you're okay with it, not get disappointed or get happy when it comes, things like that. Eventually you learn. And once you learn, when you have this insight, you realize that when you have this knowledge, you realize that your life is so much better. You can make a better decision. You have a better emotion, your positive emotion. And then that's how your life improves. What people now these days, they don't know any of that. They think that they think that being happy relies from other people, or being upset is because of other people. They keep pointing the finger out, but never know, the problem is within. Okay? So eventually you learn that, and you have a better judgment, a better understanding, and that's how your life improves. And when your life improves, it affects everyone else surrounding you. When the husband life feeling positive, it affects the wife. And the wife positive feeling is affect the husband, and vice versa with the negative effect. So starting with yourself, and then everything else will follow. But even if outside is not better, then at least you're not being affected. You still have peace, right? So that's how the practice help you in daily life like this. The Buddha did not invent any of this. It's just the nature of it. But people been clouded, their eye or the view been clouded. That's why they don't see it right. So the Buddha pointed out, the problem, and also show the solution. And we need to do it. You need to follow. But because of the ignorance, it's just, blind us, or just cloud our judgment. That's why. But now the Buddha pointed out, and then you should attempt to give it a try. The Buddha is saying, I pointed out to you, but don't take my word for it. Try it out, and you see it for yourself. This food tastes good, but don't take my word for it. Try it out and see for yourself, like that. That's why we practice. Okay. So we talk about. I asked him earlier in the Vietnamese session about the BT is the rapture, the choiceful, and the happiness of the choice that we mean choice, right? And there's several type of choice, choicefulness. You have worldly choice, which is pertaining to your sense of desire. If thing that goes your way or satisfy your craving, you have the joy rises in your mind. You're happy, right? But that joy is not concrete. It's not the real one, because eventually it will lead to unhappiness or dissatisfaction or suffering when that joy is finished, because it relies on because of the craving, and that's not the one. And then you have another choice for PT in the mind concentration. When you have mind concentration, somebody, when your mind is calm, no agitation because of greed, anger, and illusion, then PT will rise. And this happiness, this joyful is real. It's real because it doesn't rely on the condition because of the craving. It rises because the absence of greed, anger, and delusion, the calmness, tranquility, that joy rise. So before you get into the 7 factor of enlightenment, or before you get you still have joy, this joy, if you have samadhi. So a lot of people say, oh, my life too much suffering. Thinking about enlightenment and be free from the samsara, the cycle of rebirth, is so far-fetched. I'm full of defilements. How you will ever get there? Well, one step at a time. But in the meanwhile, you can still enjoy a lot of things, like the real PT, the BT, the real choice that you have if you practice it. But this PT is not concrete. It doesn't stay with you forever, because when you lose mind concentration, I'll call somebody, the defilement rise. Okay, so I give you an example. When you have mind concentration, defilement will be less, but PT will be high. Okay, so when you lose mind concentration, this thing starts to go like this. This is defilement, this is happiness. So if you have concentration, it's like this. But if you lose concentration, this one go back up. So that's not concrete. But when you practice vipassana, PT will be more concrete, will be more permanent, more is sustainable, it stays with you. Because it comes from knowledge, become panya, because of insight. When you have insight, you have the right view, the right understanding. That's why PT rise. As long as you have knowledge, you still have PT. But knowledge, the real knowledge from your own practice, will ever be perished? What you learn, let's say that before you learn how to add one, how to add or multiply or divide, when you learn it, will you ever forget? Will you ever lose it? The knowledge that you gain? Never, right? So like that. So insight is what is be more concrete. So as long as you have the right understanding, samadhi, the right view, then you always have happiness. And this is more. That's why vipassana is a rough ride. It can be very rough, very practice, because you have to face your defilement and conquer it. It can be a very rough fight, but at the end, when you overcome it, when you defeat it, it's more sustainable. Whereas the other practice called samatha, you hide it, you suppress it, and you got it, and eventually you lose it. It's not really concrete. So that's why the BT in In the Vipassana, is more concrete. That's our focus. That's how we get enlightened. And the happiness, the serenity, or the bliss that you get from the meditation, a lot of us wonder what Nibbana, I would call Nirvana, feel like or be like. Then we are encouraged, say, okay, before you ever have the taste of Nibbana through the Vipassana, then you can actually have the taste of it, how from samatha, when you have samadhi, then the greed, the anger, and delusion is like, subside, would be suppressed. So when you enter jhana, that's why it's very blissful. When you enter jhana, is when the greed, anger, delusion suppressed. And when it's suppressed, beautiful bliss you get. So same go with Vipassana. When you practice Vipassana, you cut away or you scrap it off, the greed, anger, the delusion. The less greed, the less anger, the less delusion, the more bliss that you get. Until you completely eradicate all three, then that would be a very, very uncomparable bliss state. So like that, when you practice, when samatha is give you a preview, but then again, this one can always regrow. You chop the tree, but you didn't uproot it. Eventually, the tree will grow back, and everything will be back all over again. Vipassana is the one that you completely remove the tree. No more tree left to grow, like that. Did you want to say something? Okay. So now we understand the 7 factor. One by one, when you start having the breakthrough, you start facing or start experiencing the factor one after the other. Okay, improve it. Any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Could you talk a little bit more? I know we talked about this before, but maintaining that mindfulness throughout the day for like different things, like driving to work or chores or cooking or something. Because sometimes I forget to do that. Because I'll meditate, but then I'll get caught up in So just a reminder of how I can maintain that.
Yeah, well, trial and error. Whenever you lose your focus, the moment you realize it is when you start all over again. And you keep doing it again and again, and then the more you practice, the more skillful you become. That's the only way, because the impermanence of the mind, that it go momentary, and the moment that you do something, and then when you lose focus, it can be intervene and take over the moment at that time. So it's very difficult. I give you an example. When you do martial art, and I don't know why I keep talking about martial art, but I think that's a better example. When you practice martial art, you become very skillful. You able to block or you defend or offend, the opponents easily. But if you off practice, you become clumsy and forget your move. That's how you get attacked. So that's why you need to practice again and again. When you practice, you notice, the more you practice, the more you notice that you miss a lot. And that's how you improve. A lot of people are saying, I become very mindful. And you ask them, what's the percentage of being mindful? Oh, maybe 90%. I know that person lying. You can never, unless you are a very, you attain, very high, and you're very focused, you really, manage your mind very well, then your mindfulness can be very continuous. But most of the time, even the very good practitioner, they still lose a lot of the mindfulness. So go back to your questions. Continue to aware of your focus. Am I aware of what I'm doing right now at the moment? or you recognize your running thought when you do something. It's so easy to get interrupted because your life is so busy, right? So continue to check. And if you lose your focus, then don't be disappointed, don't get upset. Otherwise, like, darn it, I've been doing so well. But if you do that, then defilements, that's not good. That defeats the purpose. It's okay. It's okay to make a mistake. The good part of it is that you recognize it and you correct it. Yeah. I remember when I learned to speak English, I speak very bad English with a very thick Vietnamese accent. So I try to improve my accent. So every time I notice I have a bad accent, I come back. I stop myself and I correct the word so that I can have a better pronunciation like that. So again and again, I improve, right? Yeah.
So be just aware, like if greed, anger, or delusion come up, be able to be aware of it in the beginning,
Mm.
and just cutting it off and then going back to your focus.
True. The more you're aware of whatever the sixth object of your absence door, let's say for your mind, the more you're aware of it, the quicker you recognize there's an agitation in your mind, then you quickly put it out. Then anger won't arise. Or you recognize there's a greed, spurred up, and you recognize it, then you won't get greedy or attachment. So awareness helps you in this sense. So the more you practice, the better the skill. You become more skillful. You quickly recognize it. Just like you make a move, somebody attack you, you quickly block it. You won't get beat up. But if you don't practice, then you get beat up badly. That's their fault. Okay. So again and again, whatever you do, try to stay focused, aware, stay at the present moment. Okay.
Because if you're focused, then you'll notice the defilement as soon as but if you're not paying attention, you're not focused.
Exactly, it sneak in.
Okay.
Just like you guard a gate, and the moment you lose your eyes shifted, the bad actor sneak in and then start up a lot of trouble. So you got to be focused. The moment it's time to get into the gate, that's how you stop it. Go ahead.
There have been plenty of times where I am aware of a defilement. So for example, I'm aware of something that triggers irritability and I'm angry about it. And I know this. But how do you actually cut that off? Because me being, simply being aware of it, unless I'm missing something, doesn't really seem to do anything about it.
Yeah, you got to be strong. Sometimes we aware your action about to do harm thing to do to satisfy your anger, then you got to make a choice. Well, actually, when you have the true insight, it stops you right there without, like in between, like, oh, what should I do? When you have insight, then your insight will tell you right away, don't do that. So when you're not having good insight yet, then you in the debating stage, should I say it to satisfy my anger, to retaliate? I should I not? The insight here, that there's a cause effect. If you start a new, when someone who upset and say something offensive to you, then we know there's a reason behind it. The Buddhist perspective is karma, right? So when you decide to retaliate, you understand that there's a karma law, that you start the new karma, and then you will reap the same result that you get right now. Do you want to do that or not? If you think there's too much suffering already, so okay, I accept my consequences, and then you come back with loving kindness. Try to mediate it, try to calm, try to, get rid of the animosity. Even though it's very difficult to do, but if you continue to do it, it becomes very easy, because that's become a loving kindness person that you developed. But you continue to retaliate, say, wait a minute, it's too much. you continue to retaliate, you start to improve your hatred mind, and it becomes easier to do it than, to do it otherwise. So that's how you train your mind. Learn to forgive. Try to prevent it from all the offensive that could happen to you. But if it does happen to you, then try to accept it, and then, try to be nicer to this person. I noticed that when someone who offended you, but you come back with loving kindness, most of the time the offender they feel very silly, feel weird, and then all of a sudden things start to dissipate, and then no more, that. Go ahead.
What if the actual object
Mm.
of how do you say agitation isn't even necessarily a person? Let's just say, for example, I have to be outside for a while, and I'm genuinely annoyed at just say how cold it is,
Mhm.
right? And I can recognize that, and I even get angry, desiring something else. Do you just counter that with mindfulness? Because sometimes I'm just sitting with the feelings.
Yes. Yeah, if you recognize that you've been agitated because of the too hot or too cold, then that's another thing that you're aware of your mind activity, the object of the mind, right? That's good, but that would be more silly to get upset.
I know.
When you walk out there, there's a boulder of rock that in your way, you bump into it, you hurt yourself, and you get angry at the rock. That would be silly, right? That's your fault.
So that's what you mean, that's what it means to actually recognize.
Yeah, well, the recognition that the upsetting mind, yes, and then you need to do something. But I'm talking about something like people do something, say something to you that get you angry, get upset, offended you, right?
Because I can be easily agitated just by environment.
Yeah, the main part of it is to recognize whether it's a human or non-human that caused the offensive, the offensive. Then the main part of it is the upsetting mind, the within that you need to deal with. You need to stop it. You need to manage it better, right? The upsetting mind is the cause of all the suffering, right? You need to fix the root cause. But the condition is out there, like the people who come, for some reason they had a bad day, or they don't think that you look good, they just want to pick on you. And that's another condition. We talk about karma, for example. Then you need to put a stop with this cycle, right? So, but the main part of it is the upsetting, the mind, our mind, we need to deal with, right? Whether human or not human.
I was going to say something to what you said. So I find the more you practice the meditation, the easier it is to calm your mind. So the more you practice meditation, when you're aware of it, then you can just go ground yourself, just go back to it, because you're used to being in that state because you've done it so much as a practice. So I think if you're having trouble, managing those emotions and feelings, the more you meditate and practice, the easier it'll be to do it.
Yeah.
To deal with that. Does that sound
Right. When you have a calm mind, then whatever it is, it won't agitate your mind easily. So that's the importance of the practice, and continuously aware of it. And then when you're aware, let's say in the cold weather that make you feel uncomfortable, then it's what it is. Because of the weather, like the hot and the cold mixed together. When one day is very hot and the next day is cold, the temperature, the climate, it makes you agitation, right? So if you understand that, then accept it, but then try to calm your mind that there's not much you can do about it. But you need to be happy, so you need to deal with your mind. Stay calm, focus on the agitation, and then stay calm again, and then the condition eventually will off. I noticed that someday, in this weather, I feel very airy, very uncomfortable because of the climate, like that. I can't get upset over that, and that would be so silly to upset with the weather, you know. But sometimes people can actually say something offensive. If you're not aware of it, you can get upset about it, and you need to deal with it. You can't stop people from doing such a thing to you, but you need to do something with yourself. Make yourself happy. Okay? If you cannot make other people happy, you can at least make yourself happy in this sense, like that. Okay? Any questions? Actually, we're running out of time. And for those who are new, after the Dhamma talk, we do the chanting and sharing merit, cultivating loving kindness. In Buddhism, we strongly believe in the punya, which is the result of the wholesome act, the wholesome deed. And the punya consists of 3 ways to cultivate it. Do the material generosity, punya on giving materials, and then observing the moral conduct, we call the punya on the moral conduct, and then the punya on the wisdom, the learning, the practice, meditation, and what you learn from reading and hearing. So 3 types of punya that need to be fulfilled at most. In other words, you have a very good life, safe, protected. No one can protect, no being, no higher being can protect you, but only the punya protect you. That's why we strongly, work on it to cultivate it. Okay? Yeah. So right now is the chanting, loving kindness, and sharing merit. Once you have the punya, then it's also wholesome that you share with everyone, all being no discriminations.